Hello again, glad you could rejoin us. I'm here with Jon Newsome this evening, the former Sheffield Wednesday, Leeds United and Norwich City player with plenty at stake and on the line in the closing 2 or 3 weeks of the football season. I'm going to start part two with a brutal question. Who is going to win the second promotion place in the Championship? I didn't prepare you for that. I didn't tell you I was
No,
going
you
to ask
didn't, not at all. That's a low blow, that one, isn't it?
Isn't it just?
Yeah, tough one, isn't it? I think Leeds, I think Leeds will do it. The way I've seen them, the way that they've played recently.
Your golfing partner is going to be delighted you've said that, because he's just given him a bit of extra.
Well, probably so, but I just think that the 3 points clear, aren't they? So effectively, they've got to, if it's in their own hands, isn't it? It's in their hands. So, and I think the way that they've gone about, as we said in the first part of the show, I think the Aston Villa game is the biggie, but you don't take your eye off the ball on all the others. All the others are as important because there's only 3 points per game, isn't there?
Do Sheffield United have to win all four, do you think?
I said it about a month ago when there was eight games to go, and I said teams are going to drop points. There's no way in the world that Norwich, Leeds, and Sheffield United were going to win all the remaining 8 games till the end of the season, and teams are going to drop points at this stage of the season. So I don't know. I think there's a few twists and turns in it, and we've seen that over the last 2 or 3 weeks, haven't we? That
we have.
United lost and then Leeds lost, and they've swapped places at probably 2 or 3 occasions already.
Can be when you least expect it.
Yeah.
Apart from the drop 2 points against Millwall, losing both Billy Sharp and Chris Basham in the same game to hamstring injuries or tweaks, that's a blow. I mean, either one of those was going to be a blow. You can't disguise that. And they're both out for the 2 holiday games at least.
Yeah, definitely. They've both been outstanding, haven't they? I mean, Billy Sharp to I don't know if it's right, but to sort of like resurrect his career, hasn't he? He's now playing at such a level and scoring goals, and he's sort of like answered all the doubters and answered all the questions that have been asked of him, hasn't he? So fair play to him. He obviously looks after himself. He's a fit, strong lad, and Basham. I've been nothing but impressed with him every time I've seen him. I love the way that he gets forward, and he's a different kind of centre half to the one I was.
You never even heard of overlapping centre halves, had you?
Well, I suppose when I played right back, I might have gone up there once in a while and had a nosebleed every now and again. But yeah, it's a very different way of playing now.
And John Egan, of course, misses the Forest game as well. And he's suspended for the 1 game. Yeah, all the more reason why to keep the ball at the other end of the park. Mind you, I think Richard Stearman, you'd imagine, would be favourites to fill that, and he's never let the blades down when he's come in.
Yeah,
Richard
absolutely. Again, Egan. I mean, what a great signing he's been.
Yeah,
really good.
Absolutely. Well, he'll be back very, very shortly. Liberating Mark Duffy, to recreate earlier form could be a key. But up front, I mean, who would you go with? I mean, obviously David McGoldrick's done ever so well, but I saw Gary Medina and Scott Hogan in tandem in 1 game. I think it was against Wigan actually, and Blade scored 4 that day. And I thought they actually blended quite well. Do you think that's a likely partnership?
I think I saw them against Reading.
Was it? It was Reading.
Reading.
Sorry, I got that wrong. It was Reading.
Yeah. I thought it was. I think was that Medina's first full game. He scored 2, didn't he?
He did. Yeah.
And again, I mean, after that, I said to a couple of friends, he looked like it didn't look like the Gary Medina that had left Sheffield Wednesday. He looked like a totally different player. His confidence has grown, obviously, with big moves and playing at a better level, and so who's to know? Chris will work it out, won't he?
I'm sure he will. Yeah, we'll look ahead to that game. That's the game I'm at tomorrow on Friday, and then Monday. All to play for again for Sheffield United, as it is for Sheffield Wednesday. Let's just come on to them because they're at Norwich. We've dealt with that game. They're at home to Bristol City on the Monday. Now Bristol City, a good team with an interest in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Steve Bruce has done well, and the players have to maintain a level of interest for so long. That never looked likely, did it?
I mean, if you think back to sort of like the Christmas period, I think they were 6 points above relegation.
Roughly, yes.
We were starting to, without being a pessimist, we're sort of like starting to look over a shoulder rather than looking upwards and forwards. And I think he's done a fantastic job, Steve Bruce. Since he's come in, I thought it was, suppose like the hindsight thing, but I thought it was the best fit. I thought it was a good fit when they appointed him, but I didn't envisage them to go on, the unbeaten run that they went on. And but he knows his stuff, doesn't he?
And in fact,
he really does.
The only games they've lost have been to two very good teams, banging form in Aston Villa, and that was extremely unlucky on the Owls. I think Villa, couldn't believe that.
I think I spoke to Tom Lees in the sort of like following week. I bumped into him, and he said he thought that maybe Steve Bruce had thought that they needed to win the game. At 1-1, so they ended up. I think he said he ended up with 4 strikers on the pitch, and they just got done, in the back door sort of thing. But you don't like losing, but if you're losing trying to be positive, that's a lot better than what the Sheffield Wednesday fans have been witnessing for the last couple of years, I think.
Yeah, I think you'll know better than me talking to Tom Lees, but that's certainly, I think Steve Bruce was right in attempting to win that game. Yeah. That would have put them right in there, and it didn't go. And the other game they lost was at Leeds, a team banging form, and they lost deservedly, really, from what I saw. The better team won.
Yeah, I think so. I thought Leeds were the better team on the day, by far, really. I think when the opposing goalkeeper gets man of the match, that tells its own story.
It does. Kieran Westwood, absolutely informed. That will bring us very shortly onto the subject of contracts up. There are 10 up at Hillsborough this summer. Who you think maybe they should keep? It isn't entirely down to that because it's the wage terms presumably going to go down to a more realistic level. So just offering somebody a new contract isn't, the formality. It would
absolutely
appear,
not. And it's complex, isn't it? And you've got players who have done great for the football club. Gary Hooper and Kieran Lee, but have had big injury issues. So, if they decide to keep those type of players, do they offer them like an incentivised contract in terms of appearances, that kind of thing? Yeah. At that stage of their career, are they willing to accept that kind of contract? It's really, really difficult. It's really difficult.
OK, we'll go down the runners and riders on the contract stakes and what kind of a summer you think it will be at Hillsborough very shortly. But first, James Gregg, by the way, he's gone from the Open to the PGA now, I think, in
the
America.
Masters, from the Masters
to PGA. So we've no hope of seeing him,
I don't know, his elements. Absolute elements. I'm jealous to death.
And Tiger Woods, what a story. Just what a story that was. I'm not a great fan of, I like golf, but even I was I couldn't move from the TV for hours during the climax to the Masters.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I thought the fact that they brought it forward because of the impending weather, more people watched it, because it wouldn't have finished till midnight, 1 o'clock something. And I think a lot of people were engrossed in it. A great comeback.
Great story. I tell you what, it's all relative, and a great story on the local non-league football scene, which we keep tabs on here, is Worksop Town. It's an absolutely phenomenal story. I'm trying to think, in my experience of football going back, whether I've ever been in close proximity to a team that's won 18 matches in a row. John, I mean, in your experience, at any level, 18 in a row?
At any level, that is an absolutely outstanding and incredible feat, isn't it?
It is. 16 of those in the league, which means they won the title. Just fantastic. And I had the pleasure of seeing, well, 3 of the goals. They blazed goals in from all over the place. Quite recently, when they played Hall Road Rangers, it resulted in a 3-1 win, and all 3 goals from Worksop, Craig Denton's team, were really special. Have a look at this. Let's have a look. The first 2 were from Steve McDonnell. You'll see this coming up here. This is McDonnell on the... No, that's not McDonnell. There's McDonnell now, just inside the box. That goalkeeper previously made 2 outstanding saves. There was no stopping this one. And then later, the very, very same player, McDonnell, who's just being congratulated there. Notice there's no euphoric celebration. They were 1 down, by the way, at that stage. They'd given away a penalty. That brought it to 1-1. And here we are later in the first half. Aerial duel there. And there's McDonnell. Look at the skill here, setting himself up. There we are, edge of the area that time. 2 absolutely terrific strikes, a 2-1 lead. This was game 17 of their winning sequence. And then you'll see in the second half, the floodlights are on now, and we see Ross Goodwin here. There's Ross Goodwin picking up the ball, and just look at that. I was right behind that because I moved round the ground, stood behind the goal with Worksop supporters there, and what a good view I had of that. And so a 3-1 victory. And apparently that isn't out of the ordinary, John.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. 3, I mean, fabulous strikes.
At any level, those would have, you know.
Yeah. Unbelievable, really.
Absolutely. And so they can celebrate the title in the North East counties. And AIM, I think we've got 2 league games left, so, and a couple of cup matches as well, because they've got through to the final cup stages of that. So it could go to 20 and beyond before the end of the season, having won the NCL Premier Division. Congratulations to Worksop, but also congratulations to the team in their wake, Penistone Church, because they've been blazing. I think they've even scored more goals than Worksop, but because of the reorganisation of the structure, finishing a close second doesn't bring them anything. So only 1 team goes up, but Penistone have really thrilled and entertained everybody this season as well. By the way, moving down here to Sheffield, 408 people watched Hallam against Campion, a key match at the top of NCEL Division 1 this midweek. Hallam lost it by a single goal, bit of a smash and grab. Now, remarkably, hearing that Hallam, just as recently as 6 years ago, their average attendance was 60. And here they are pulling in over 400 for a midweek game. And brilliant. I think that reflects a resurgence of interest in this kind of football at this level. And it's
Absolutely.
great to see.
I love going, actually. I really enjoy going to... I've been to Hallam probably 3 or 4 occasions over the last couple of years, and I really enjoy it. Yeah, it's good. Good
Nice
level of football. Yeah,
nice
welcoming.
And homely. Very welcoming. On the at the same time, Sheffield last weekend, and they're going well as well. They had an attendance of 391, so just under 400 for their 2-1 win over Clee Town. They're away to Pontefract Collieries on Saturday. Hallam are at home to Selby Town, so another game at Sandygate. Sheffield are 5th and firmly in a playoff position in the Evo Stick. Support your local non-league team. It's well worthwhile. There's plenty of others around here that you can go and see as well, as highlighted on this show quite regularly. Good luck as we move to other sports, to the new coach of Sheffield Steelers. You know, it seems to be quite a volatile scene there, where there's a high turnover of coaches. 3rd best supported outfit in this city, Sheffield Steelers, with sort of 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people going to the arena. And that is Aaron Fox. So good luck to Aaron Fox, who's been brought in and confirmed this week. Great to see Sheffield Eagles maintaining a fine start to the rugby league season. And it was great as well last Sunday catching up with Keith Senior. a fellow runner in the Sheffield half marathon, and he certainly, well, I expected him to. He beat my time for sure. Just over 2 hours, I think he was, 2 hours and 1 minute, compared to I'm happy with 2 hours 9 minutes and 30 seconds. I was more than happy with that. But I've got to say at this point, an opportunity to say thank you for the phenomenal support of everybody who came out along the route. I thought that with the weather was cold. It was ideal for runners. We're talking about 3 degrees. Up at Ringinglow, I think it was a chill factor of -3 degrees up there. Everybody was overcoated. But to see so many on the route, and it really means a terrific amount to the runners. So thanks one and all for that. And finally, just on my little mini roundup, I think James Gregg might be back next week to give a more professional and comprehensive version. Sheffield United women, again, doing fantastically well. 4 excellent wins in a row. They're at home to London Bees on Saturday, a chance to support them, and they are 5th in the table now, so all going well. As promised, let's go back to the affairs of Sheffield Wednesday. It's going to be, one way or another, a busy summer, and quite a different summer, I think, to ones we've seen in previous years.
It's got to be, hasn't it? I think over the last 2 or 3 seasons, the club's probably been criticised a little bit by the lack of players leaving the club. It's like we're collecting footballers. We seem to buy players and get people in on loan, but there doesn't really seem to be anybody going the other way. And I think that will change dramatically this close summer, really, and it has to. There's a real big building job, I think, for Steve Bruce to do. But again, just reiterating, I think he's the ideal man for it. He's done it in the past. He knows who and how to get players in. And I mean, look at the deadline day when he brought 3 lads in, and they've all come in and made an impact. So.
Just a pity that all 3 have caught the general malaise of being injured.
Yeah.
Just as they really, and as you say, all 3 did impress.
Yeah.
And look to me, Iorfa's permanent, but the other 2 from glimpses are worth pursuing from Newcastle, don't you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. Pace. I mean, it's something that we've not had much of, if any. And you could see when they came into the side, just that injection of pace. Did help things, I think, and obviously, Steve's got his ear to the ground and he knows football inside out, doesn't he? So I think I think it'll be a busy summer. Yeah,
primarily, as you say, it's not a collection of art treasures. This is a squad of football players, and it's normal to have movement in and out. You can't have favourites and be hanging on to people for sentimental reasons, can you?
Not at all.
This game,
no, especially at the financial levels that we're talking about. They've got an incredibly high wage bill, which needs to be addressed, and there's the financial fair play issues, and so there's a lot of work, I think, and I think he's done a press conference today, hasn't he, saying that he's meeting the chairman next week, and they're going to start thrashing things out. So interesting.
Certainly, the lack of outward movement has caused the problem, the imbalance there, which is not to say that it can't be put right. So, as we look across the board, so there's some tough calls to make, because as often happens, players that you thought were going to be jettisoned are performing for various reasons. We've seen Marco Matthias contribute with goals. We've also seen George Boyd, who played very successfully for Steve Bruce at Hull.
Yeah.
Show his value. I don't know where you stand on those 2. They're tough ones in terms of a new deal, and also Kieran Lee and Gary Hooper. No doubting the quality of those latter 2, but only just coming back from injuries. Long term. Again,
that's another part of the equation, isn't it? The injury issues with them, and that's why I think financially, the levels that they're at. It would be virtually impossible, I think, for the football club to continue in that vein if they're wanting to bring other people in as well. So something's got to give, hasn't it, somewhere along the line, and it's whether the players are willing to possibly take a reduction in salary, or whether they want to, move on. And I think the other thing I think is that it's about playing football as well, isn't it? For me, it was always about playing football, playing games of football. The financial rewards weren't great by any stretch of the imagination compared to what they are today. But that was a bonus and a byproduct for me. And I think there's still a high number of players who that's what they want to do, especially when they get into the latter end of the careers. Because when it's over, isn't it? And they want to get as many games in as they can, and sitting on the bench and being squad players is possibly not what they want.
Yeah, well, certainly, as you allude to there, Sheffield Wednesday will not be able to afford to keep a raft of £30,000+ a week earners there.
Absolutely.
So big calls not only for the club but for the players themselves. Jordan Rhodes, obviously he can't play against Sheffield Wednesday for Norwich this Friday. Things haven't gone entirely according to plan. He's scored more often than not when he's featured, which has been regular. Odds are that he'll be coming back. I can't see Norwich in either circumstance looking to sign him permanently. Can you?
It's a difficult one again, isn't it? I mean, probably the reason he's not got in and played as many games is because they've got a striker down there who's
Teemu Pukki,
scored. What's he got now? 25, 26 goals, something like that. So you're not going to dislodge him, are you? No matter what your reputation, your scoring record is.
That player was Jordan Rhodes in previous years at various places.
So again, a big call, and the fact that we've got a new manager, Steve Bruce.
Who rates him?
What's his thoughts on him?
He's tried to sign him before.
So maybe he'll come back to the football club with a different viewpoint and a spring in his step, and it's like a fresh start for him, isn't it?
A confidence player, Jordan, a lovely guy, those who know him, but somebody to infuse confidence in him who really believes in him.
Yeah, I think so. But I also think, I felt a bit sorry for him when he first came to Sheffield Wednesday, because I thought we played in a manner that didn't. Any striker wouldn't have helped. We were constantly keeping possession of the ball in our own half. The centre halves and midfielders and keeper, and we never got in behind teams. We never put quality crosses into the box. When we did, we probably crossed them from deep. You're not playing into a striker's, poacher's hands there, are you?
No. And I'm sure Steve Bruce would be mindful of that if he harnesses Jordan Rhodes, a proven scorer, to Sheffield Wednesday next season. Just finally, with a minute to go, how's it going as a new agent on the block?
Yeah, okay, thank you. Loving it. Really enjoy being back in and around football. Getting to lots of games. Got a few young lads who have got signed up with me now. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with how it's gone so far. But it's a long road, and I know it's going to be a long road. But I'm loving it. Really, really, enjoying being back in and around the game, and it's what I love.
Great. You made a few signings already, and
yeah. I've got 4 or 5 young lads. So hopefully I can. Build that relationship with them and just help them along the way.
Excellent. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you, John. There you are. We killed an hour now. Just the two of us.
No, I always enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we could carry on talking. We probably will do over a pint across the road. Thank you, John. And thank you very much indeed for bearing with us and watching us. This will be on YouTube later if you missed. Thanks very much for your company. See you next week. Bye-bye.